Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Happiness Patrol. We're back for another great talk about Star Wars. What this show is we are tired of toxic fandom. So we wanted to talk about something that makes us happy. And for the first season, that something is Star Wars. So we're at the point where we're actually going to talk about Star Wars proper. This is episode 6, A New Hope. Wait, that doesn't work. If you've been keeping up with it, we are going in film chronological order. So we did the original prequels. We did Solo. We did Rogue One, which immediately bumps into A New Hope. So, of course, I'm not here by myself. Let's bring up Cameron. How you doing, Cam?
Good. How are you?
Good. You ready for some Star Wars goodness?
Absolutely. My favorite movie of all time. Easy.
Excellent. And next up, we'll bring in. No, we're not. We'll wait on that. We'll bring up Scott.
Oh, how's it going?
Good.
I just realized Brew and Lars are behind you, Cam.
Yeah, that's my Owen and Baru
Yeah,
action figures.
I realized it when it came on. It came back, and I was trying to muffle my laughter. I thought that was fantastic. Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Very
Excellent.
Excellent. I like how you use proper Star Wars. I'm like, no, it's all proper Star Wars.
True. No, I didn't say proper Star Wars. I said Star Wars proper.
Oh, no, I stand corrected.
Interesting.
It is a very different meaning at that point.
That's a very Yoda way of saying that.
I suppose it could be, yes. Except that's
podcast.
not until the next one.
Yeah, I've heard there's a Yoda.
Yeah.
Or the one after that, maybe.
Or one after that, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All that, and there's a baby one. We won't get into that.
That's a whole nother conversation. But that being said, we'll interrupt our craziness with some Jess, because we love Jess. How's it going, Jess?
It's going good. I saw that way you were speaking of baby, and I'm like, I am not that short. I know where that was going.
It was not. It was not. It might have been. It might have been. It might have been.
I didn't plan it.
Speaking of really short creatures, let's bring in Jess. Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
And with no segue whatsoever, we'll have some cat butt. Nope, no, cat butt walked away, but we still have Mel. Mel's on mute.
Oh, I heard a cat.
That was mine.
Not mine.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, she's up there gonna probably knock a lamp down on top of me and murder me. Okay, yeah, Luna's just running around. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Can't wait to talk about the Wars of the Stars.
Wars in the Stars.
Number 3.
Number 4.
4.
No, 4.
5.
One.
6,
5,
7, 8.
6.
1. I don't know.
1.
I like the right numbers.
It's just called Star Wars.
Star Wars.
A Star
That's
Wars.
it.
I have above A New Hope in there just to be, longer.
Yeah, I like how you just. I like the fact that you threw out the episode 6 Star Wars: A New Hope just to antagonize anyone who's going through YouTube, sees the thumbnail, and is like, "What the click
bait?"
Okay,
Yeah.
just rage bait them into watching.
Bring it on, people. Bring it on.
I watch the movies like once a week, if not more, and my mom couldn't tell you which one was which. So this is about right. So.
My mom always walked in when I was watching it. She always walked in at the trash compactor scene every time. And she would ask me every time, is this the only scene you watch? Like, it's just
Actually, the whole movie is like the movie Cube.
I can picture
It
that.
all takes place in one trash compactor.
Yeah.
386 3827.
The sequel.
Can't
Yeah.
start again.
One takes place in jail. One takes place in the trash compactor.
Yeah. The other one on Empire shows came in when Yoda was lifting the X-Wing up. And it just always, I bet you if we look at the timestamp.
I was about to say, check the timestamp.
It's probably
Wouldn't
right
that
when
be
dinner was ready.
interesting?
Yeah, right when I started it after school and then dinner was ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be Yeah, I definitely checked that because I'm now legitimately curious,
Mhm.
and you have to tell her that.
It sounds
Yeah, it
about
is.
right. Like in my head, picturing the storylines, it's about at that moment.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it's actually it was more about the moment that came after. That would be the prequel. Would tell the story of leading up to coming in to check on you.
Right. What was I doing? What was she doing? That didn't
What two
work
common
out.
events in your household happened at those two?
And if Lucas
Dinner.
owns the rights, there would be action figures for all of this. Here's the remote he used to like pause it to be like, "Mom, you're back."
The VHS.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've all seen Star Wars multiple times. I'm going to start this off with a confession. I don't remember having I'm sure I did, but I don't remember watching Star Wars until the special editions came back into theater in 97 or so.
97.
Oh wow.
I don't remember. I remember Star Wars, the box that is Star Wars, but I don't remember ever watching that first movie. I don't have a specific memory of it until that point.
I know that we didn't have it on VHS right away. We did have a VHS player about 1983-ish. But I remember going to my friend John Curtis Rude's house after school, and so I would have been in grade 1, and so I was 6 years old, and we watched Tron and Star Wars, and he had them taped off of oh, there we go. Perfect. He had him taped off of Super Channel. And then I went home and told my dad, like, oh my God, we watched Star Wars and Tron off Super Channel. And he had a guy at work that had Super Channel. And I think over the course of the next few years, we ended up with all 3 of them taped off of Super Channel. And then I think it wasn't till maybe about 89 that we finally owned the 3 on VHS, the CBS Fox release of the 3. And then again, the THX came out in 94, 95. And that was the first time. So again, we watched those old ones like you guys probably did. You just watch them over and over and over and over and wear out the tape. But the THX was the first time we saw it in widescreen.
Oh.
And I kind of clock that as like the first time I really saw it. You know what I mean? Like that was the first time where I was like, okay, we've seen this movie
Properly.
now. Yeah, and it's kind of proper. And then obviously you're right, the special edition was the first time we saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
I think
I think it was the first time it's the first time I remember seeing it full stop.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Like I'm sure that I saw it on TV at some point, but I have no actual specific recollection of ever watching Star Wars, the movie, the specific movie, anywhere before the first time before that.
I think one of the big things about the 97 special edition as well is I think that was the first time, at least in my world, I realized how big Star Wars actually was, because you didn't really see much of it. The internet wasn't what it is today. The media wasn't, but then you had people lining up for these movies. Like it almost felt like we had this communal thing we all agreed on. There was this movie is great. And all of a sudden it's almost like you saw like in the back of a coffee shop, it was like, hey, if you like this movie, why don't you come check it out? And all of a sudden like thousands and millions of people showed up. Like that's a big jump in numbers. I get that. But like it's like, and you go, oh yeah, this is something. Like it's more, oh, you like Star Wars too? Cool. I can, yeah, no, I think the 97, yeah, we can debate Mr. Solo and Mr. Greedo if we want, but I really do feel like the 97 Star Wars was kind of a big, like, we're back. and you're allowed to kind of come out and say we're back. With Star Trek, you always had the movies like every couple of years for a while, so you kind of saw that, and then you had the TV shows and stuff. But Star Wars felt like it was biding its time and kind of having a rule of 3 until it got kind of figured its stuff out, and then all of a sudden, I don't even think at 90 with the 97, did they announce that they were going to do episode 1, or was it maybe gauging to see if there was?
I specifically remember talking with my friend Adam at North Hill Cinema when we were watching the special edition, and he mentioned imagine being on set for episode 1. So we knew episode 1 was happening, and it was public knowledge. It wasn't. I mean, obviously there's that documentary that shows the day he starts writing the script for episode 1, but which was even before that. But it was in the the media that he was going back and doing 1, 2, 3 at that point. But for years and years and years, these were our only 3 movies, and this was it. And even though there was always talk of more and rumors and stuff, like it was kind of, we just didn't think it was ever going to happen, and so we just devoured these, certainly this one and Empire and Jedi.
What do you remember? What you thought of the changes that were made? Because you did a fair number of effects changes at that point. And additions.
I know that at our theater, it was almost a standing ovation every time something new and different happened. And I mean, similar to Yoda jumping around in episode 2, people were going crazy for every little thing. And the first one, I think, is the sandcrawler, the establishing shot of the sandcrawler coming over the sand, and it fills the screen, and it's a much bigger, beautiful. I don't know if it's a model or CG or a mixture, but it definitely it's like what I said in that other episode about how Star Wars runs like a symphony in our brains. When something new pops in, it was noticed and it was celebrated.
I was working at the movie theater. I was working at a movie theater in 97. Our theater had in our county, it was because it was a UA, so we had A New Hope and we had Jedi, but the sister theater got to have Empire. But because of, I had watched I remember watching it on VHS until the VH. And the funny thing is, I remember all the commercial breaks, so it clearly was something where my brother must have recorded it on something, and that's how we always kind of watched it. And I had always remembered where the commercial breaks were, so I knew when to skip ahead. But in 97, that was the first time I realized how big Star Wars was, because I was a usher, I was at a concession stand, I was in the box office, blah blah blah, and I didn't realize how huge really fandom was because our general manager was a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, he could be on this show with us, but I had no concept of this, a little 17-year-old me, and he was like, he had us protecting the standee because that was going to be his. He was taking it home with him. But the other thing was just seeing the lines that went out to the parking lot, and not even just on the day that it released, like every night it was crazy. It was, the 4:00, the middle of the day shows were insane. The weekends were insane. And as Cam was saying, it's like you'd hear like, I remember hearing all the different beats of people, each showing 4 to 6 times a day, having the pops of every time that you knew when the sandcrawler came over, because you could hear the audience even though you were outside in the lobby. You just, and it was, everybody absolutely loved everything about it, which is always then the internet slowly came about, and they all started talking to each other, which I thought was hilarious. I remember and lived this every time, where everyone kind of goes nuts on the Han and Greedo kind of thing, and I'm like, no, I remember people going berserk and loving it, but right on.
Yep. Jess, do you remember? What do you remember?
I remember, I think my parents had actually rented them from like
Blockbuster.
either Blockbuster or we had a local one. So they rented it, and I was under 10. And so they wanted to preview it first because like there's a lot of death and a lot of other stuff in it. And I was a
Dismemberment.
youngling.
Yeah.
So they previewed it first and then was like, we think you're allowed to watch it. We just have to fast forward some stuff. And now like you guys are saying like, oh, it was 97. I'm like, I was 8. So like, yeah, it was like 97 because I owned after I fell in love with it and they got through all of them. I owned the box set of those things were worn out. My goodness. I watched them on repeat. It was horrible. But they also had like the special edition afterwards of like, look at the changes we made. But for me, the special edition was the version I knew. I hadn't seen the original. And in, I guess, the town I grew up in, no one knew Star Wars. Because I even went to school and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Star Wars. And I was reading the Galaxy of Fear books, which are like Goosebumps, but Star Wars. Because I wasn't allowed to read Goosebumps, but I was like, it's Star Wars. And so I was allowed to read the scary Star Wars books, but not the Goosebumps ones. So yeah, I absolutely remember watching both the film itself as well as the them editing, because they released that additional, oh, if you watch afterwards you see the changes we made and stuff.
It's the special like documentary behind the scenes before we had DVDs, right?
Yeah.
It was like they put music videos or whatever at the end of like, here's the music videos go with the music of the I'm thinking the Crow City of Angels on that one, by the way. But yeah. Unless we talk actually didn't matter.
It was on, I mean, I remember, watching 60 Minutes and all these things where they would talk about the changes they were making, and they did a whole thing about the Jabba scene and how they had to, step over the tail and figure out all these
things. That's the one I remember the most, is them changing him stepping over the tail.
The Jabba stuff. And
then I mean, lift them up and down again and
yeah, exactly. And it calls, I mean, you've heard me talk about on this one on every episode that I watch lots of different versions. I love the fan edits. I love like the 4K 77 or the silver screen edition, which is like the original print of 1977 Star Wars, where it doesn't even say A New Hope. I think it's amazing. That's the one I grew up on. I love the special editions. I love all the edition. I love the Jabba scene, and I love it when it's not there, and all the, I mean, I'm McClunky. I love McClunky. Like, it's hilarious. Bring me McClunky every third time I watch it, Yeah. One of my favorite version, and that, again, if you put me in charge of Disney Plus, go ahead, I'll do it. Put every version on there, have every version on there, or do some branching thing where I can be like, oh, I want Jabba this time, I don't want Jabba this time, I want the McClunky, I don't want it, like, mix it up.
I don't want the new version where Obi-Wan screamed like "Wah!" as a crate dragon. I'm like, what is going on here?
Or the rocks they added to hide R2.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, every time
it sounds like a guy at a frat party. Every time I hear the new version with Obi-Wan with him screaming as a crate dragon, I'm like, what frat guy did they record where he's just like, woo!
Changing that because I mean, it was already great, and I mean, there's so many things, and I mean, the impact of this movie and everything. We've all seen it a million times. We're all going to watch it a million more times. Just give us a different version every time. I don't care.
I'm hoping, because they're doing the re-release. If it hasn't happened already, probably by the time this goes up, it has. But they're supposedly the 50th anniversary. They're showing the original
Mhm.
and I'm hoping
Yes,
that
they did
like,
once. Yeah.
yeah. I'm hoping that gets them to be like, look, we can. It feels like Star Wars with all like the TV shows and the Ewoks movie and the Droids cartoon and the holiday special, and like that. There's so much of it that you can. It's not. It doesn't feel. At what point is Star Wars no longer theirs? It's ours. Like it's our thing. And if enough of us are like, hey, can we just see where it started, like how it started? That has to be like the. I say this, and I'm hesitant because Disney's listening to this, being like, we can release it for like $2,000, and people.
That's what I think they're going to do. They will release it because money.
It's money. Like Star
They'll
Wars.
just coincide with the something.
Well, the 50th is coming up very soon, and so that's a very good time to do it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's like when I growing up, Star Wars. I don't know if my parents just used it to babysit, but like as I think about it, my brother and I would be. But like it was the first 3 Star Wars, first Ghostbusters film, because as a kid you don't realize, and then Labyrinth, and those movies were on repeat in my house, and I just like I would watch that, and the Rainbow Bright movie. I don't know why.
Oh yeah,
like the original like cartoon one where like but
it was the K-pop Demon Hunters of its time.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, like where it's
yes.
like,
Absolutely was.
Yeah.
and it's just like Star Wars is like. It's funny you guys are talking about the Crate Dragon thing, and all I have in my head is, and this is where I'm going to lose a little credit. I think I don't know what the creature is when they're going into Mos Eisley, and it like rears its legs up when the speeder goes by. Sorry,
Ronto.
Yeah, I did know that. Yeah. And that's what I'm picturing as you guys are talking about the Crate Dragon. I'm picturing that scene being like,
Bay 7.
It's the same digital file as the Brontosaurus in Jurassic Park.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, they just used it. Look at us talking about new things on a movie that's.
I have a hope that has been renewed.
Yeah.
So.
I have one.
Hey guys, thank you very much. I'll see myself out.
I have one thing that I don't know, and obviously everything about Star Wars it's all been talked about a million times before. But I have one thing that I think has never been talked about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one language C-3PO can't speak?
Oh, that don't Sith.
No. Well, yeah,
Not
I suppose.
But thing?
like
okay.
in A New Hope.
Oh. Hold on.
Doesn't he talk about Sith in episode?
That's what I was
I don't
thinking.
think the word
Sith
was
Oh,
used.
no. What?
The word Sith wasn't used in the original.
Oh,
I was thinking how he was like, I can't speak everything.
I don't think we've ever talked about the font used in the credits.
We'll get there.
The font used in the credits. No, well, the answer is Jawaese. He doesn't even attempt to talk to the Jawas. Not even he's asking R2.
Wait,
what are they going to do? Are they going to melt us down? Are they going to send us away? What? And don't shoot. And he just only talks to them in English.
He only speaks basic to them.
And they're talking to him.
Yeah. They clearly have a language, and he just never speaks Jawaese. He was, later retroactively built on Tatooine, probably dealt with them in a trading capacity for the Larses. Maybe it was never reestablished in his, I don't know, but he never, in that movie, he brags that he can speak 6 million languages. Yeah. And then I always picture him a little bit like a spelling bee kid, like with the right context clues. The
mannerisms.
Yeah, like the Ewoks. He didn't speak Ewokese, but he could figure it out. But I could be wrong, but I think this, and but never even attempts to speak Jawaese.
Maybe it's because he thinks he's better than the Jawas.
Well, and he does regard them as disgusting creatures.
Yeah,
that is true.
And he just kind of slings them onto the fire, and he's like, I can't abide those Jawas. So I have a feeling that he doesn't see them as a society.
It was off principle.
Creatures. But also I think, and I don't know if this is like canon or true or whatever, but I think Jawaese, they emit a smell. And the smell coincides with what they're saying to provide context to what the words mean.
To be fair, that makes about as much sense as anything else. If like you were an
Why not?
outside person to Star Wars and someone said like, yeah, there's like a green like Kermit who's had aged a lot and maybe had Keith Richards lifestyle for a while is going to lift a airplane out of a swamp. It makes as much sense to anyone else as as they speak, they release a pheromone. Like
and
like this
that combination of the smell and the words is what allows them to communicate. And anyway, but I just think it's funny that right in that first movie where they haven't built the canon, they haven't built the universe yet, they haven't established anything, he's bragging about all the languages he speaks and then never even attempts to talk to the Jawas.
He's just better than
Good point.
Yeah.
There's a very good documentary filmmaker named Jamie Benning, who I think he has a podcast and he makes what he calls filmumentaries. And he did 3 for Star Wars. He did Jaws. He did Raiders. They're amazing. They're free on YouTube. Just look up, if you just Google filmumentary, you'll find it. And the Star Wars one, and especially Empire and Jedi, are really robust. But it's really neat because it's a behind the scenes making of, but it just runs as essentially the runtime of the movie. It's the movie in order. He throws in interviews. He throws in pop-up dialogue. He'll jump into behind the scenes footage right in the middle, like when Han and Leia and Luke are going through the Death Star and the stormtroopers are there and it's them, blast them. They show the footage, the film footage, but then it cuts to the behind the scenes where the special effects guy has to run in and put a fire out that's on the stormtrooper because he's on fire. And it's fantastic. I highly recommend. Again, about every 4 or 5 times that I watch Star Wars, I watch Star Wars Begins, which is his filmumentary. And there's a lot of fun facts in there. There's Mark Hamill talking about how there was it was ladybug mating season when they were shooting in Tunisia. And so they were trying to shoot the scene with like him and 3PO outside the hut looking for R2. And they were just getting pelted with ladybugs, having a ladybug orgy.
Those are pre-CG porgs. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we're a couple away from talking about that. But
anyway, it's very good and has lots of nice insights but still kind of feels like you sat down and watched Star Wars.
It's funny because you're saying this, and I'm sure Jess and Mel will actually probably almost 100% agree. I already know Cam will. Is like you can play a sound, almost any sound, and you know the scene in your head. You're putting it together. You know how we got there. You know what comes next. Almost any sound. Someone can make a like "Don't tell me the odds" or like any kind of random like. I dated a lady, and she had never seen Star Wars. This was about 20 years ago. And I always argued with her being like, you have no clue, like probably once an hour nowadays, but like once a day a Star Wars reference goes off and you have no clue.
100%.
Like, you'd have to, it'd be like Plato's The Cave, where like if you do know it, it's because it's a reference from a reference to a reference that you like it.
But I would still wager that like when she sees a Darth Vader cookie jar, she knows it's Star Wars.
She knows who it is, and that's what I meant by the play, the cave, which is like you understand it through the lens, not because the original, but like all the homage to it throughout all of pop culture. Like it's not it's such a, I don't know how someone could like go like and not run into a Star Wars reference. I don't know how you would go through one day. I would love to see someone. You'd have to lock yourself in a room and just not like touch electronics. Like there's so many, and everyone does it. Like it's such a, and it's like Beam Me Up, Scotty, or like Live Long and Prosper. Yes, Star Trek. But these are universal things that bring us together. Like it's. I wear my Tron hat out, and when every once in a while people are like, "Oh, cool!" And I was like, "Cool, you and I, we are on the same wavelength. This is awesome, right? This is how I show my geek cred. in this one thing. Everyone has that thing, and like when someone comments on your shirts or comments on just some random thing, you get this warmth, like your community. Yeah, we are. I don't know
found my
who you are.
tribe.
Yeah. Like it's, and Star Wars does that. I think Star Wars does that in a way that with Star Trek, it always feels, I keep bringing it up, but it always feels like there's a clinicalness to it, where it's almost gate kept in a weird way, where like, because it can't be fantasy and it can't be fun, and then Lower Decks came out, but like it really feels very, where Star Wars, it just feels like if you want to be like stuck up about it, yeah, sure. I'm not a fan, but yeah, sure. If you want to be like really just like loosey goosey with the like, cool, yeah, sure. You know, like
I mean, it was 100% pop culture. It was the most popular. It's the most popular thing that has ever been popular, I think, outside of maybe the Bible and the Quran. You know, like it really just there's very few places on earth where you're not going to find a Star Wars fan or some kind of, you know, there's not a language where they haven't released it. There's not a country where you can't get a poster in their language. And
it's interesting you referenced religion as you're like, I think it might be up there with religion.
My religion.
There's a Vader as a gargoyle on the National Cathedral.
You can be registered as a Jedi both in the EU as well as the USA as your religion.
Jess, how hard would it be to do that, if I may ask? I feel like you might be one of the ones who might know that.
Apparently for military, I know US military, it's not that difficult. You just fill out the paperwork and they will put it on your dog tag as you are a Jedi.
Cool. Actually, that legitimately, I find that actually kind of cool. Not
I
wouldn't join the military for that reason, but that's
right. Yeah. Have an official document saying like you're a Jedi. I know in the EU, I'm not sure how difficult, but like you can fill it in and it is a recognized religion.
I know when I lived in Australia, they when they were doing the census, they asked people not to write Jedi so they could actually get a real idea of the world's religions. And it actually, I think it ended up going higher because of this. But
because everyone's like, wait, I can do that?
They're like, take this serious. And then people are like, this is serious. It's Star Wars.
Very serious.
Yeah. That was I remember that. But like, I don't know, like Star Wars just feels like this transcendent thing at this point. And sometimes it feels like Disney's trying to make it not by like the corporate crap they do every once in a while, but like Cam keeps talking about fan edits and different versions. Like it's beyond them. It was beyond them before they bought it. It was beyond Lucas by the end of the first year it was out. Like it's not like, again, we're talking about in the same breath with religion. Like this is huge, right? I remember in the 90s there was Star Trek again. There's documentaries about, like, I think it was called Trekkies, where they're wearing their stuff everywhere, and it was such a big deal. And I just remember being like, yeah, I wear Star Wars shirt all the time. I don't deserve a documentary. And that's because with Star Trek, I feel like they're always like trying to be Star Wars in a weird way, like that same size of fandom. And there, it almost feels like it's like there's a jealousy, like the McCoys, Hanks and the McCoys,
Hatfields.
Thank you. Like that kind of, because that's how, like, you know, we're both like sciencey, Star Warsy stuff.
There was definitely a rivalry at one point. I think the way that the nerds have taken over the world, there's less of a rivalry, and it's more like a brotherhood where you always want your brother to do well, but you don't want your brother to do better than you. You know. So, but again, I mean, when they came back with the J.J. Abrams, Chris Pine, Star Treks, I think that was a real push to we can be fun and exciting and quippy like Star Wars, and I think Star Wars has always been kind of nerd nerdum, but also sometimes the coolest kid in school is a huge Star Wars fan, you know.
Yeah.
And it's again very rare to find any corner of the world where there isn't somebody that is in love with this movie.
Fun fact: R2D2 is into the 2009 Star Trek movie.
Oh,
He's when they're like jumping from one ship to the other, he's an asteroid.
oh, hilarious!
Yeah,
That's
it's
nice.
a blink and you miss it kind of thing. But J.J. Abrams always wanted to do Star Wars. He even
It was
said,
like a resume. It was
Yeah.
a resume film where he's like,
Yeah.
please give me Star Wars.
That's funny.
One of
One of
the
the-
film. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say one of the interesting things that I found when I was rewatching it was we always make fun of stormtroopers for not being able to hit anything,
Mhm.
and in this movie they can. And this was like, Jess, did your parents let you watch that first Vader scene? Because everybody just gets shot to heck.
No,
And they're all
so
dead, and it's like, what?
When they're
How
allowed
did
to.
stormtroopers
they're
I
hit
allowed
this?
to kill.
I was allowed to watch it as soon as Vader walked in, but everything was fast forwarded until Vader entered.
Mm.
What about
Beru
Owen
and
Beru?
Owens fast forwarded. I wasn't
Okay,
allowed
so
to watch
it's like-
but
that. The cutting the arm off,
the arm off,
fast
yeah.
forwarded. Yeah.
Because that's also there's blood with that. That's like the
Yes.
only time in all of Star Wars
Very
there's
rare.
like blood,
That there's
right?
blood. Nope, couldn't watch that part either. But funnily enough, I think later in the film there's less stuff that they had to. It was all at the beginning.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, the film switches speed about when they get tractor beamed into the Death Star. The movie feels like it changes what it's trying to do, and you can hear it in the music cues. You can hear like it feels almost like another movie being. I don't want to say tacked on because it is great from beginning to end, but it does feel like we're going away from the original like hey, we're done with the world building. We're going to get into it now, right?
That original mantra of the story was they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Naturally, they became heroes, and I think that's the kind of the idea of like we're on one mission. We're getting these plans to these people, and then they get there, and the planet's gone. Now they're getting drawn in to the Death Star, and then wait a minute, the princess is here too. Okay, well now we have no choice but to do the right thing.
Yeah,
and it's Luke that pushes that. Luke is like, no, we have to rescue her because I saw a hologram and she's cute. So we gotta do this, right?
We're not going to talk about that.
We will, but
Okay.
and again, it's it's that they're connected by the Force, and so even we can save it for Empire, but when Leia is so conflicted between going all in on Han, who she clearly is attracted to, but she keeps going, but there's this Luke guy that I feel so strongly tied to. I think that's a lot of the conflict going on in her, is that the Force is telling her one thing, but she's not interpreting it correctly.
My favorite thing is John Williams talking in hindsight about how frustrated he was with George, because he was like, there was obviously something happening in this first one, and I thought, so I wrote the music,
the love theme,
so it would, and he was like, why did you do this to me? And it's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's
He
so
overdosed
iconic.
his own
She kisses
composer.
them and they swing and it's so Errol Flynn and yeah.
They swing, huh? All right.
Yeah.
We're just gonna let that go. All right.
Gonna let that fly.
Yeah.
The other thing too is what's cut out. Obviously the structure of the story is perfect, I think. And when you think about all those scenes with Biggs Darklighter and introducing Luke, seeing through his binoculars, seeing the battle going on, and the idea that they took all that, hacked it all out. You met Luke when the droids met Luke, and it's that hidden fortress idea of following the lowest characters through the adventure, and R2 kind of being the hero that narrates the whole thing. It's perfect. And I did hear I think it was just someone on my letterbox mentioning the idea, because there is a dark lighter cut that puts all those scenes back in and
Yeah.
kind of cleans them up so they're not so rough looking. But this person's idea was to put those scenes in after Luke has the argument with Owen and Beru about not going off to school.
Yeah,
So you still introduce Luke the same way, and then he storms out of his lasagna party and he throws his blue milk against the wall and storms off and goes to Toshi Station and shoots the shit with his friends and learns about the rebellion. And then when he comes back, R2's got away. It actually kind of timeline wise sort of works, and I think that would be not a bad spot if you ever wanted to put those scenes back in. My favorite fan edit of all time is the Adiwan. It's a guy named Adrian, I think. Adiwan, Star Wars: A New Hope Revisited, and he does so many. First and foremost, he recolors the movie, and his color, like the color timing on it is perfect. It's so beautiful. The stormtroopers have never been whiter. The blue hue on Leia when they're going through hyperspace, it's amazing. He adds so many little details that I miss when I watch the real version, like the escape pod as it's headed towards Tatooine in his version actually gets to the atmosphere and starts to burn as it goes through the atmosphere. I love that. I love even when R2 opens the hatch, his little arm comes out and hits it and then goes back in, as opposed to the real version where it just comes out and hits it. Just little things like that. He takes the scene in Obi-Wan's hut and returns it to the script order. Right now it's not in script order. The editor, I think it was Lucas's wife, Marcia, switched it around so that they talk about, oh no, my father wasn't in. He was a navigator. He wasn't in the Clone Wars. Or whatever. Now the way it's scripted, when you tune into that scene, the first thing they do is watch the message. Ben watches the message. You get Leia's message, and then that sparks the conversation about the father and the Clone Wars, and then he gives him his lightsaber. And there's little things like that where it's just like, when I watch any version that isn't that version, I sort of miss.
Can I get a show of hands? Who feels like right now, when Obi-Wan is explaining the Force to Luke, is kind of like Cam explaining the fan edits to us? Like, I'm on board with it. Like I'm learning. I'm like, so you're telling me there's a whole.
I don't think Luke is as annoyed.
Film out there. Yeah, and they all different. Like, it's like a different color lightsabers. Well, in this lightsaber, we put the message before the at the beginning of the scene. But in this lightsaber, this stormtrooper hits his head on it, and we just left that in there. Like,
bonk it.
Yeah,
and
like,
again, I love that stuff. I love. No,
I
apologize. I'm sorry.
I'm in on this. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Tell me more, Master.
I just love that. Again, like I said earlier, I love the different that there can be all these different versions. We can all have our favorite version. We can all have, it's almost like, Da Vinci would make a painting, and then all his students would redo the painting and add their own little style to it, and then those people's students would redo the painting, and maybe that's the future of filmmaking. George is always pushing filmmaking to the next.
To a certain extent, it goes backwards too, though. And you mentioned it. You mentioned it in there when you mentioned the Hidden Fortress. And I'm curious, Jess and Mel, have you seen the Hidden Fortress, Akira Kurosawa?
It's been a while.
No.
There's actually a documentary in the Criterion Collection of George Lucas and all the stuff he took from that and the inspiration. It was such an inspiration to Star Wars, and you can see it.
I've seen that. I've seen
where
they've layered it on top of each other.
Of people talking about that, but I haven't sat down to watch in its entirety.
I like that he's not shy of saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes you get this like, oh no, I'm an auteur. it's only me. It's all my oatmeal up here. That's how we got here, right? But like, no, he was like, no,
He
like
owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I learned this from here, and I learned this from here. This
Right.
I completely stole
film
because
builds on
I
itself.
love it.
It's
You
a
should see it.
language.
Yeah, it's
And westerns too. I mean, he definitely took
Mhm.
from a lot of westerns, and he was influenced by a lot of things. And yeah, it's to be a great artist is to be a great thief, yeah.
One of the board games, you can't see it here. The third edition of Twilight Imperium, in the back of the rule book, there's about 2 pages where the designer talks about where he got all the ideas.
Like a bibliography of the
Kind of like he's like, you know, when I was going from 2nd to 3rd edition, I really like this on this game that had came out in between. So I borrowed it. Like it's
Mhm.
and it's like, but he's really upfront, and it's the first time I've ever seen that, because I always felt like, and then you like, again, Lucas is so open with this idea. And
I mean, the whole thing started because he tried to get the rights to Flash Gordon and couldn't get the rights to Flash Gordon. So that's why it's a serial. That's why we jump into the middle of a battle. That's why we have the roll up explaining where we are. That's
I feel
why,
like you'd have a better chance today of probably getting the Flash Gordon.
I feel like, yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
pretty cheap rights, but that, I mean, he was trying to recreate something, and even Phantom Empire and some of those old silent or like old black and white westerns and stuff. He was trying to piece together all these things and make something that was relevant to 12 to 14-year-old boys and girls that were getting ready to like go off and leave home, possibly be drafted into the Vietnam War, possibly, like that uncertain future of all these people in the late 70s, and it ended up accidentally being very timeless.
Yeah. Well, because it's hero's journey. Like
Yeah.
that was one of the things, because when I took myth back in the day, that was the thing in like mythology. They're like, yeah, the hero's journey. Everyone knows it. We've all seen A New Hope. And I'm like, yes, please do tell me more. And they were like, yeah, because like all of these Greek stories are literally this. It's like, oh, yep, you right. That is.
Well, it's also like of its time. Like there's always this idea of like trilogies tell you like the stuff that sends out, like, because like that time we walked on the moon. Yes, we walked on the moon, and like and like
I don't know what's in the Florida textbook about that. But
they're
They
mostly
use
in,
textbooks.
yeah.
right?
they spell book with a U. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like
All
it's like
fairness, Cape Canaveral's here, so
Yeah, I know.
NASA and most yeah.
Yeah, but like we're fascinated with space, and all of a sudden like this like Star Wars, like it's just like
Yeah.
Perfect
like,
timing.
it's
Well, I think about Toy Story as well. Toy Story was that idea of, he grew up this cowboy kid and he had his cowboy doll, and then all of a sudden these robot dolls came in. And I mean, there's a billion Star Wars references in Toy Story, and that idea, I mean, even kind of happened to me as a kid, because I grew up as a cowboy kid riding my hobby horse and my, those horses on springs, that probably were
I
the
had
most
one.
dangerous toy ever. They probably have
My
been
my mom said that I would spring it and it would just go through the house, because even though it's not supposed to move, I would just bounce that thing through.
You got to screw it down to the porch so you
That's what
don't
you should have done.
move across the room. But anyway, then and then eventually the Star Wars fandom took over. By about 95, that's when like they started re-releasing the figures, and then that's when you could, I mean, I wasn't really into the books, but my friends were, and that's when the books really started. Like, when was Heir to the Empire and all those Timothy Zahns? Like,
That was like 93. Oh,
93,
I can look this.
94.
It was early 90s, if not like
Yeah,
90 itself.
That was sort of
Horse is making the comic books. You have like
the card game, like a lot of that stuff.
Oh, I have
yeah.
Dave has seen it. I have a lot of the card game.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, absolutely.
The original Decipher and the Fantasy Flight LCG. I have a ton of that too.
And then even the video games, the Dark Forces.
91.
One. I was
91.
91 was the
91.
first Heir to the Empire.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, and really, actually,
My
like
age.
we like to think there was this big break in Star Wars, but if you're into the books and stuff, that's not a huge break, because
Oh.
I'm sure the Ewok cartoon and Droids cartoons were
Mhm.
still on the air in like 87, 88. And so if 91, yeah. But as far as movies are concerned, it felt like there was a huge
Well,
gap.
83 to 97, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then even to 99 if you count the
episodes. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
and
okay.
I know book wise because I grew up and it was the kids of Han and Leia, and that's what I grew up with. And it's funny because, like, generationally speaking, that's where I fall in line with based off of. So, like, I grew up with all of these new story, technically what people would have as the sequels, but I digress.
The
Mhm.
So
extended
much
universe.
better.
Time.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And they pulled from it and then, like, left the good parts. And I'm like, why? If you're going to pull from it. Like, please do.
That is the Disney motto, by the way. So, like,
Yeah.
I'd like to think that's why you see Filoni and Favreau pulling from them, because you could see which creators read them as they were coming out and maybe which ones didn't.
Oh, yeah. Or I have opinions on Dave has a lot of strengths. He is not smart enough to write Thrawn. And that's my bit. You have to be a genius to write Thrawn. Timothy Zahn is a genius.
you hear that,
Like-
Dave? You got no chance.
Yeah, I heard.
But that's my hot take is, like, Dave Filoni tries really hard to incorporate Thrawn, and I'm like, sweetie, please ask Timothy to come write this, because he's like Sherlock Holmes but military. You have to be an intelligent military and strategist to be able to write it complex enough to make that character make justice. And I'm like, I love the effort. Please grab someone that knows what they're doing.
Well, also, I mean, Zahn's even said himself during one of the panels that I had the pleasure of listening him to or going to live, was that the first thing when he's about to write, whenever he was going to write something and he's going to either look for a setting or just anything whatsoever, first thing he'd open was Wikipedia, type in the place, and if there was nothing written about it, that's what he would go for.
He wants to establish new ground.
He would never pick some place that would, at the time, there's already a history to it, because he's like, nope, I will not connect the dots right, blah, blah, blah. Let me find something or create something on his own. And that's he knew how to work the continuity sandbox. He knew how to play in it.
The same
and
thing
it's a big sandbox. So that's
a big sandbox.
volumes.
It's very
I
big.
was like, oh, was this city mentioned once in another thing? Is there anything else about it? Nope.
Well, it's like
Perfect.
Star Wars, the Old Republic. Jess brings up the High Republic. I feel like the High Republic is Disney trying to kind of be like, can we tell some of our own, make our own stuff, right? And without Star Wars, nerds, and I say that lovingly.
I mean, so much was seeded from this one movie. This one movie. I mean, even the idea, because he had the merchandising rights, where he's like, we're going to make a figure out of every single thing in the cantina, and we're going to give them a name, and we're going to give them a backstory, so that everybody wants to buy that
and
figure.
A species and a planet,
and without that idea that, like, this is our 120-minute movie, and we're going to just milk it for every, they mentioned that Dantooine, they mentioned this thing, we're going to, like, turn all this into something. And the fact that he got to go and make Empire and Jedi, it turned into this universe bigger than anything we could have imagined. And from there, it's off to the races.
Note, watched A New Hope before internet and also a child. I misheard a line for my entire life, I did not find out until you said Dantooine, which is what made me think of this.
It's on
I did not
Dantooine.
know until last year that I've misheard this, and I created this entire. So when Leia says Dantooine, they're on Dantooine. I never heard they're on. I heard your own Dantooine.
Her own.
I thought she was picking out Tarkin's home planet
Oh.
this whole time.
I
thought
thought of like a
Tarkin
rub it
was
in your
from-
face kind of like, yeah.
Diabolical.
And that is the plot that I thought it was. And I was like, oh, I always thought this was amazing that she was like, yeah, your own Dantooine is betraying you. Like,
Oh,
and then
I
someone
love
was
that.
like, they're saying they're on Dantooine. And I'm like, what? So this whole subplot
Magic.
that I had in my head of like how clever and how and now I'm like, can we special edition and make that line?
I love
You're-
that. I love that.
And that's
I'm
how
headcanoning
I
that.
thought.
Yeah.
Right. But if you go back and listen to it, you can hear it because I still can hear your
Especially-
own Dantooine.
Through her British accent in those scenes.
It's like a Manny Bottins kind of thing. I like it.
Yeah,
I
it
love
was.
the
It was a thing that I just never knew because I don't watch with subtitle. Well, VHSs don't have subtitles,
no.
but yeah, didn't
There's
know
a,
until last year.
There's a comedy
go.
troupe or a comedy theater in LA. I think it's called Dynasty Typewriter, and they've been doing live readings of the scripts on YouTube. And an actor named James Urbanick plays Tarkin in the I think it's called McClunky Treasure Island is the episode 4. And his line reading of Tarkin's, "You prefer another target, a military target, then name the system," is the funniest thing you will ever hear. He just absolutely nails that entire speech. And Leia's being played by the girl, she was on Heartland, Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, she was in Orphan Black.
Yeah, and She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yeah. And how they kept their I mean, everyone does laugh, but he just nails that Tarkin role. It's so good.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So with that,
one of the things.
oh no.
It's always,
All right,
it's always
one more thing.
Scott.
There's always one more
Like
thing.
Columbo. It's like a Columbo.
One of the things I like
Yeah.
about when we get together is like, because I think I'm a Star Wars fan, and then I realize I am nowhere near any of you. I've been like,
Yeah,
I talk a lot, but I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, I'm really enjoying all of this. So, like,
I know. I almost wish I had set this as like a 2-hour show instead of just an hour, because there's
We
so
can
much, and
release
we could
a,
just keep going,
It can
and we
keep
could just
going.
special edition.
A New Hope Part 2.
The
A
search
second
for
hope.
money.
Yeah, more hope.
The
More hope.
newest hope.
Yeah.
maybe we come back to it next
Best of
season.
Hope. Yeah.
Maybe. I hope so.
Maybe that's
So I
a
could tell you
possibility.
So I could tell you all the New Hope Easter eggs that are in Star Wars Outlaws because you're on Tatooine, and there's a lot of New Hope stuff in there too.
See, that's
Oh.
the main reason why I want to play that game is just
There's
run around
so-
and find all that
you
stuff.
will go to the cantina and you look hard enough, and it's not that hard. You will find the burn mark where Han was sitting and that Greedo hit. You will find you search hard enough, you'll find the Lars homestead all just
Yes.
completely covered in sand and all. And there's
That
like little
next-
data pads and stuff like that they were gonna go off and do things. It's sad, and yeah, and you can go to Tashi Station.
And get
You can
power
find
converted.
it. It's
That was
anyway.
amazing in Troops. Do you remember Troops? It was like one
Yes.
of the original.
Oh, one of the
man-
original fan films.
Yeah, when Owen and Beru Lars were at just a domestic dispute, and
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
they blow each other up. And
When EA got the rights from Disney after they bought to do the games, this was before Outlaws and Ubisoft. Disney let them into the archives, and so if you see the new Battlefront game, it's the sounds and because they use photogrammetry where they literally took pictures of things and just put them in the
Mhm.
games. It just watch a trailer for that game, either the first one or the second of the.
I always
it
die.
feels Star Wars.
I always die in that game because I'm too busy looking at like the land
Yeah.
speeder parked on the corner, and like, yeah, get obliterated because the settings are so gorgeous. And I just want to, I mean, George created a world that we all want to live in. And it's in the middle of a civil war. Like, it couldn't have been a worse place to go. And we're all like, we want to go there so bad. To do like, we want to go to Tunisia to see all these locations, and I want to go out to the Mojave Desert to find the radio tower where he recorded the Stormtrooper blaster sound. Like, we want to go to all these places because this movie just is so engrossing, and it ruined our lives.
Like the Hobbiton village,
right?
I'm shocked that like Disney hasn't tried to do like give us 10 grand and we'll fly you to all the spaces.
They did. It was the Galactic. It was the Halcyon.
Wildly successful Galactic Star Cruiser.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite movies of the last few years. Was that 4-hour YouTube takedown, the Jenny Nicholson takedown?
That was so good.
It was brilliant. And
it was so good.
And to understand how it is just in the core of Disney marketing to put everything behind the paywall in that sense. And it that thing blew my mind. I've watched it several times and I love it.
And even how much of it was, because I'm a big Disney parks nerd. I've been a pass holder since 2000, or no, before that. And how much of it I remember that was supposed to be in Galaxy's Edge that suddenly disappeared and was put behind the paywall of Star Cruiser.
Of this very expensive and short-lived.
Yep.
Mel.
Now it's an Imagineer's office, so that's cool.
Yeah, with no fire escape.
They couldn't have made it just a normal hotel. Make a hotel! God damn it!
When we were in high school,
with the right credit card.
So. I mean, that's all we talked about in high school was like why doesn't George build a hotel in Las Vegas where every floor is a different planet and like
the Star Trek where they rebuilt the TNG bridge? Just do that.
Yeah,
I personally wanted laser tag or paintball. Pick one and let me either go on Hoth, let me go on Andor, and go team for team and start going after people. I
love Galaxy's Edge. I went to Galaxy's Edge for my 40th birthday, and I was in tears. I loved it. I was taking photos of every little doorknob and every little everything.
Which one did you go?
Going to Galaxy's Edge with Jess?
LA
was something else. I was thinking of this today because I was listening to the Oga's soundtrack as I was running, and I went for the first time with Jess to Hollywood Studios and to Galaxy's Edge, and the amount of knowledge this woman has all of the lore of the little details. It's like,
gossip.
That's where the guy got shot. Her lover got shot. You can see where
we should hire Jess. We should hire her to be a tour guide.
Yeah.
I am so grateful to have had that experience with you, Jess. Seriously.
I'm glad I didn't bore you with the local BSO gossip.
Far from it. I want to go back in a few years, maybe in a few years or something when I'm coming back down to the States. And I want you to come with me again because I'm sure you held back more than you gave out.
I'm down for that idea. We can go for a road trip.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've never been to the Florida one. Is it any different, or is it just
Gators?
I haven't been to the California one, so I don't know.
The layout is a little bit different just because of the way that ours connects to Toy Story and everything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that are very similar. California always gets more stuff than we do. Food
you can
choice.
Also see where they were supposed to have that Bantha ride. If you look closely enough, you can see that there's supposed to be a Bantha ride that you're supposed to be able to go on a Bantha and walk through everything. If you look at the original concept art, it's in there.
Okay.
And then if you look, there's a couple of YouTube videos that one guy did brilliantly getting Google Earth and just doing the top down and pointing out, nope, see, look, that's a queue area. That's a loading area. That's this. And you're like, check that out.
They were just going to put a sheet over a buffalo, and they're just going to get the buffalo to work. So
Yeah.
He's gonna get
The
moving.
original
There's an alligator
elephant
here.
passed away, so they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
okay, I got two things. One, I like that the moment Dave chimed in was when he realized that this wasn't going to end.
Yeah, I've given up on that.
Like, you
we'll
can
go
see
for
it in his
90
face.
minutes.
He's like, screw it, I'm going to join. And number two, I got a Mel question,
Oh God.
which is, when you first got your pass to Disney, how much did it cost? Do you remember?
When I first, oh God, we just had this
Two-part
conversation. It was like $400. It was like around $400.
And
It was premium annual, which means it had all 4 parks. It had 2 water parks. It had the golf course. It had Disney Quest.
and you said you have a pass this year?
No blackout dates.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
the
blackout.
blackout dates. are
None.
what
It
kill
was
you.
launch. You had everything.
Okay,
Now,
yes. How much is it
Now I-
now?
oh
And what
God,
do
if
you
you want that pass, if you want the pass
like
that it used to be
1,000.
400, yeah, it's I think it's like 15. It's either 15 or 2,000, something crazy.
That's
I don't
that's
have that.
American for us Canadians up here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and now it's
that's like
the one I have
$1 million.
I think it's the Pixie or the Pirate. I can't remember,
Yeah.
but it's got. I don't go during the summer. I never went during the summer anyway. It's too goddamn hot, and there's too
hot,
many
yeah.
too many
Screw
you
people,
all.
too hot.
It's you're blocked out for Christmas. I'm not going. And the funny thing is, even now there's blackouts. They really shouldn't have blackouts. Like today, if you go, you can look at somebody who posted today for Labor Day that they blacked out all the pass holders, and somebody was walking around, and it was like, I mean, nobody was there. It looked like it was a cast member just walking around
Well,
when it
it's-
wasn't open. It
Mhm.
like nobody goes. It's funny,
the,
but yeah, it's.
the American tourism has taken a hit, and so I'm sure Disney's feeling that, like, because you always see the Vegas stuff, and you're just like, wow. Like, we get a lot of the Vegas stuff up here because there's like I think it's like $100 return flight from here to
Mhm.
Vegas because it's subsidized, and like no one is going. Like, it's just
Yeah.
that's speaking of the Empire.
Mhm.
On that note, Dave, what is making you happy?
Let's start. What's making me happy is this episode, but we'll come back to me. Let's start with Melanie. Melanie, what's something that's making you happy, and where can we find you?
Oh Lord, I have nothing making me happy right now. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff
Speaking of
this
being
week. No, I've got a lot of stuff this week. I'm gonna be flying to Oklahoma next weekend, so that'll be kind of neat. I've never been to Oklahoma City, so yay! There's a happy thing. You can find me at Pieces of Melee, or that's my Instagram, blah 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 blah, or where I work, which is all stained glass and mosaics and other kind of crafty fun. That is Diamond Tech Crafts, Crafts. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you can see me making a lot of stuff there. So ta-da.
Scott, where can we find you, and what's something that's making you happy?
I really enjoy, like, I enjoy all our talks. I really do. But like, I felt like the first time hearing Star Wars, hearing everyone here like explain, I was like, oh, this is great. Like this is Breakfast Scotch, still doing that. I'm currently writing an article where we rank the Star Wars films, the main 9 in chronological order, and by that I mean episode 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, haha, the joke. We are starting up 2 new websites. We have Positivity. I want to do one where it's happy. So it's Positivity for creative, unique news and technology stories.
Ooh,
Love that.
Yeah. Check the acronym out. It's good. And the other one is called Polygonal Nonsense, where once a week we're going to review a video game of some sorts.
Love it.
Beyond that, no, things are good. It's everyone's super happy. It seems we're everyone's really nice, and again, loved every second of this. A lot, like literally hearing everyone's excitement. Just like I'm like, cool. I gotta go watch Star Wars again. And so like it is, and I didn't need any reason, but this gives me a little bit. So,
Cam, where can we find you, and what's something that's making you happy?
Happy. Well, it's, I mean, at time of recording, it's Labor Day, so the kids start school. My daughter already goes there. My son is going to be starting at the high school that I graduated from. And it's also, where I met all my Star Wars people for the most part. Like, this is where we're talking 95 through 98. These were the years that where the special edition came out, and me and my boys found each other, and we dressed up and went to North Hill Mall, which doesn't have a theater anymore, but it had the old Cinerama, and we watched Star Wars a million times from September 1995 to the time we graduated, which took longer than it probably should have. We're at the time this airs, I hope we're kind of deep into recording our first 10 episodes of Horses on Film, which is the other thing we're doing. It's a podcast very similar to this one. Dave's gonna produce it and man it, and we're going through the top 100 westerns of all time according to IndieWire, and taking a look at their list and deciding where we want things to fall and maybe be added, and kind of we're going to eventually create a new list of what we feel are the best 100 westerns of all time. And I love a western. I love Horses on Film, and that's why it's called that. Yeah, that's my world right now.
Excellent. And Jess, where can we find you, and what's something making you happy?
I can be found on Song Swan Cosplay on Instagram and Facebook. And Star Wars is making me happy. No, I've just got a lot of moving parts at time of recording. So honestly, I feel like my entire brain is chaos right now. Which I thrive in chaos, so maybe that's making me happy. You can talk to my therapist about. No, I'm kidding. No, but it's just great to kind of take a moment and talk with you guys and just talk Star Wars, because that really does allow the mind to calm down and just go, hey, it's just Star Wars. Like, enjoy it. So this is making me happy.
Excellent. And as for me, it's the same thing as we've all said. Star Wars is making me happy because doing this show makes me super happy. As Cam said, I've been prepping for Horses on Film. I've got The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS going on. Of course, my own channel, youtube.com/theradhole DOTCA for board gaming stuff. And right here on Happiness Patrol, youtube.com/@HappinessPatrolShow. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Like this video, share the videos out, share the page out. We certainly appreciate all of that. That's how YouTube works. If we can't survive if you don't help us, and you, our audience, are part of why we do this. We do this for ourselves because we all enjoy this and we're having a good time. But we'd like to be able to share this out with as many people as humanly possible. So this airs in the beginning of November. I think now is an appropriate time to say what we're doing next month. The end of November starts the holiday season. We're going to take a slight detour from the actual films. This is the only time we'll do this season, into the holiday special.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's a slog. It's a slog.
Yep. This will challenge our be happy mantra.
Aw, we're celebrating Life Day. It'll be fun.
Look at the
Life Day's on
Arthur.
the 17th of November, so just
Exactly.
celebrate Life Day. Grab some jet juice.
You know what?
Tip
It's
you
Star
up.
Wars.
You know,
It's Star Wars.
Load up some Wookiee porn.
some Mantel mix.
I got you. That was just not expecting that.
Yeah.
I get-
Yeah.
I was just blowing past it. I'm just.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Yeah. And then if you want, there's a great documentary too. It's called The Disturbance in the Forest, or Odd Disturbance in the Forest,
Not just
where they talk about the creation of that holiday special. It's wild.
It's
Mhm.
funny because the reason for it is money. So
Yep.
like it's just
Yep, very
like,
much so.
George hated it.
oh, everyone hated
Everyone
it.
hated it.
Everyone hated it.
CBS loved it, but like everyone else hated it. So
Yeah.
But, and I'll say this next week too. I mean, it's weird, but it was on TV in the 70s, and TV in the 70s was
It was
weird.
weird.
Yeah.
There was every show was one of these variety shows. I'll say one other quick thing that's making me happy. It's starting to leak out, and by the time this airs, everyone's already talking about it, I'm sure. But there's a possible reboot of the Muppet Show.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's apparently Seth Rogen is producing, and there's a great director involved, and some great people involved. So we might see that return of weird 70s TV.
I'd be way okay. I thought you were going to talk about Starfighter. So
Oh yeah, that they released an image of that too.
yeah,
didn't
that
they?
first image. Yep. So
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling.
Mhm.
All sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
Star Wars.
continues onwards and forwards. But that has been episode 6, Star Wars A New Hope.
Episode 4.
Episode 4. This has been episode 6,
Oh.
episode 4. Star Wars A New Hope. Is there any other numbers we need to put in there? I don't think so.
Cue the kazoo.
Disney, don't sue us.